I'ma start going way on.
I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the pride, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so, they like my family, so they go pretend that they cool till they busted your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my check in the bank, they see the number. All of my haters feel one of two ways, really upset or they show some respect. I can't even think about it, I've been up, so read about it, no beat around it, straight to it, no ring around it. You coming for me, we'll see about it, we'll never see it when I kick my feet up. 100 meters where I run the fee up, and go ka-ching and nana mana pia. I had to re-up on a reel, so you stay the feeder, and put it back into the beat, cause I don't really need it.
It's time!
Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers, and welcome to UFC Vegas 48 Best Bet. I'm really liking this card from a betting perspective. Hopefully, we can find some spots here. I'm here, as always, with Wheezy, Eric, and Narco Cop. We'll start with you, Wheezy. Wheezy, you looking forward to this card? I mean, maybe not the most name value, but I feel like there's going to be some violence tonight.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. And the best cards are the ones we make money on, the ones we stack cash tickets like flapjacks on. So that's all that matters. Let's just find some spots and cash some tickets this week. Have some fun.
That is always the plan. Eric, are you looking forward to this card?
Yeah, you know, it's a little bit of dumpster diving maybe as far as the actual name value on the card. But like Wheezy said, I think there's a lot of good betting spots here. I have a ton of bets on this card, so I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think this is the most action I've had all year on a card like this. It's a little scary, but I really do like a lot of these spots. Narco, how about you? You looking forward to this card today?
Yeah, man, ton of bets for me on this card. I actually usually like these UFC Fight Night cards more than these big UFC pay-per-view ones, just because there's lesser eyes and you know, you're getting better pricing on some of these numbers.
There are a lot of spots that we'll talk about. First, let's shout out the chat. If y'all can please leave a like, subscribe to the channel as well. Daz, first one in the chat. What is up, Daz? We have Mike as well, Davey Boy. We have Sean in the chat. Mike, Angel, Bill, JP62, Bimmer Dude, Rex, Lee, JD, Ratea. We have Thomas looking for some violence today. And we have Chandler, Sosa in the chat, and Eric. What is up, guys? Please leave a like. We're about to get started breaking down this card, and we'll start with the very first fight of the night. And we do have Mario Batista going against Jay Perrin. We'll start with you, Narco Cop. Anything sticking out to you on this very first fight of the night?
And, you know, I really hate this fight here. This is one of the fights that, like, I don't have any official bets on. But I have to give a best bet. That's part of the show. So my best bet is going to be Mario Batista KO plus 250. The guy hits pretty hard. Very good striker. I think here there's a huge discrepancy in striking where Perrin just is not that good of a striker at all. He's primarily a wrestler. You know, he's going to try to shoot takedowns here against Batista. Batista has pretty good takedown defense. I just think when it's upright, like, he has a huge advantage. And I just think, you know, Batista by KO is not bad at plus 250. You're turning a minus 365, minus 400 into a plus 250.
Yeah, I'm kind of going the other way. I do really like Batista in this matchup. I actually don't hate him as a parlay piece if I was to do a parlay, but I actually like Batista by decision. I think Perrin might be able to have a little success early. This guy is very aggressive in terms of the wrestling, kind of, you know, nonstop with the wrestling as well. Maybe he can take down Batista here and there. I just think it's a very tough style to come in here and implement on short notice. But, you know, Perrin, he is very, very tough. He's never been knocked out. So I kind of like I said, either Batista parlay piece if I was to do a parlay, or the Batista by decision stuck out a little bit at plus 125. Wheezy, anything stick out to you on this one?
Not really, man. This is a hard one to pick. You know, I mean, short notice. I don't want to get like snookered into picking Batista by sub, KO, inside the distance by decision, but I don't want to overthink it either. I think the way that I would approach this if I were to bet this fight and I'm not betting it is just to use Batista as a parlay piece, because there's a lot of parlay pieces on this card that a lot of people are going to feel pretty safe about. You can put together some nice 3 and 4 leggers this week and feel pretty good about them. I would be using Batista as a parlay piece. Maybe if you want to get some early action on the card, just parlay him with the Pierce money line, and then you got a little action there at like minus 170-ish or so. So that's probably what I would do on this one.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't have a bet on this fight either, and I'm actually going to probably miss the very first fight of the night, which is fine. Not overly excited about this one. But Eric, anything you like on this first fight of the night?
Yeah, not really. Pretty much every week, I feel like I end up having one fight that when I'm trying to do the tape, I feel like I'm not getting anything, and I just sort of lose interest, and I kind of just trail off and move on to the next fight. And that was this fight for me this week. I just didn't feel like I was getting much of a read. Yeah, if I was going to bet it, I would probably just use Batista as a parlay piece as well, but I don't have any hot takes for you here on this one.
Sounds good. Yeah, like I said, not my favorite fight in the card, but we're going to talk about some very exciting ones. And coming up next, we have a very exciting one. Jonathan Pierce going against Christian Rodriguez. We will start with you, Wheezy. What are you liking for this card? And I heard a rumor that this might be your ass shaving of the week.
You heard correct, my friend. Yeah, I thought we were going to go with Stratter and Hellinger, so I've got that tab up. But yeah, Pierce is my pick to shave ass this week. I even put out a little tweet before we went live here, just explaining, how confident I am in this guy. The quote that he left us with in the right before the Dana White Contender Series fight, where he absolutely drowned Jacob Rosales, was, "I'm going to keep walking forward until he's not there." I just thought that was a terrifying thing to say, and then to put that performance that he did after saying that, really opened my eyes to this kid. I've got a couple of bets on this fight, but I think the best way to approach it is just to pick Pierce inside the distance at -125 on FanDuel right now. I also have some prop bets on a second and third round finish, because Pierce's style is not this one hitter quitter. It's really volume, pace, pressure. Conditioning is how he breaks people. So he very rarely breaks people in the first round. So I love the second round prop, love the third round prop, and I love the inside the distance prop. But I would just probably, instead of getting too cute here, just go Pierce inside the distance -125.
Yeah, I actually really like that line a lot. I have a bet on the fight doesn't go to decision. It has moved a little bit since, but I still really like that -200. Pierce fights, they finish. I mean, he's only lost by decision once, and he's only won one decision win. And the fact is, he comes in here and he fights at a crazy pace that most guys are not going to keep up with. And I actually really like Christian Rodriguez. I think this guy's very good, very talented, and I think he's going to have success. And he's very young as well. It's just coming in here up a weight class on short notice. We saw how much smaller he is than Pierce. I think it's a recipe for disaster taking this fight. I think Rodriguez might be able to have some success early. Pierce does leave a lot of openings. Pierce is very hittable, but I think eventually Pierce is going to kind of break him in that second or that third round and get him out of there. But I like the fight doesn't go to decision. Pierce has been finished 3 times, so I think it kind of covers both sides. But I think the most likely scenario is Jonathan Pierce eventually shaving some ass. Narco Cop, how about you? What are you liking for this fight?
Kind of echo a lot of what you said, but I love my props. I love my long shot props. So a couple of long shot props here that I actually really like are Pierce submission round 2, 1,600. Pierce submission round 3, 2,900.
Wow.
Here's the thing. You mentioned something about Rodriguez. I taped this guy in Dana White's Contender Series. I really, really like this guy as a prospect. I'm not going to, throw shade at this guy at all. And it has nothing to do with him here. The problem is you're moving up to 145, short notice against a huge 45er, against a guy that has an insane gas tank. And it's just all those things combined are a recipe for disaster for Rodriguez, right? The one thing I will say is Pierce does crash forward kind of crazy, leaving himself open to get hit. And if you are to take Rodriguez, you probably want him fresh or early in round 1. So round 1 KO is like an insane number on Rodriguez. It's like 17 or 1,800, which if you have a lot of Pierce, I would suggest you have some of that, just because I think that's when he wins, and he wins probably by KO. So, yeah, I mean, I like Pierce here, man. He's going to drown this kid, and he's just suffocating when he's on top. So submission is very, very live here.
Sounds good. Yeah, that Pierce round 3 submission opened up at plus 4,000. That's crazy. Now at 2,900, still very, very juicy. And like you mentioned, if somebody does like Rodriguez, the KO in round 1, which is probably his path to victory, is plus 1,900. Eric, what's sticking out to you on this one here?
Yeah, I also think Rodriguez is pretty good. I think there's definitely winnable fights for him in the UFC. He's a guy who might be around for a while, but this is pretty tough as a first assignment. I also believe that Jonathan Pierce will shave ass. And then I think when he's done shaving the ass, he's just going to continue shaving the rest of the body. And Rodriguez is probably going to walk out looking like a dolphin. That's what I think is going to happen. But Yeah, I like the under 2.5 here. Fight doesn't go the distance. Pierce inside the distance, or even some of those props that Narco mentioned are pretty cool. I just jotted down that sub round 3. I might try to throw that one in there, but yeah, I do think this is a pretty tough spot for Rodriguez, and I think Pierce probably rolls here.
Sounds good. Looks like we're all 4 on the same page. Let's keep moving on to the next fight. We have Jesse Strader going against Chad and Hellinger. We'll start with you, Eric. What are you liking on this fight here? I think it's gonna be a really good one.
I've got my notes in the wrong order. Okay, here we go. I actually did take a small shot on Strader as an underdog here. I can understand why Ann Hellinger is favored, but the reason I took a shot on Strader is kind of just based on, Strader is, I think he's going to be stronger. I think he's going to be more athletic. He's kind of the young, hungry guy that's going to come out aggressive. And he could kind of surprise Ann Hellinger and hurt him early. I also like the idea of just kind of going for the fight doesn't go the distance here. If you look through both of these guys' records, they both finish and get finished quite a bit, whether they're winning or losing. So I don't mind that underdog shot on Strader, and maybe even an underdog shot on Strader inside the distance, because I think if he does win here, it's probably, I don't think he's going to win a decision. But yeah, that's what I'm looking toward.
Sounds good to me. That line on Jesse Strader has moved quite a bit throughout the week. What'd you get him at earlier?
I think plus 225 or so.
Okay, yeah, he's around like plus 205, plus 195.
Okay.
Sweet some line movement there. Narco, how about you? What do you like for this fight?
Again, I love a prop here that I think is severely mispriced, and that's Jesse Strader round 1 KO at plus 1200. This guy chucks a lot of power early. He has a ton of power in his hands. I've stated this before, like when I saw the Marcelo Rojo fight and how he almost had Marcelo Rojo out of there. Marcelo Rojo is known to have an insane chin, and he almost had him out of there. Like if he lands on Ann Hellinger in the first round, like he did with Rojo, and Hellinger is going to go out, and you're getting a plus 1200 on a guy that actually hits with a ton of power. So Jesse Strader round 1 KO plus 1200 is what I like. But what I will mention is I also like Ann Hellinger live. Like if he gets out of that first round, I think he's going to have the cardio advantage. He's going to have the wrestling advantage, and just you're going to get a better price than minus 240, minus 275.
Yep, sounds good to me. For me, I'm going to go with I'll go with the under 2.5 rounds, minus 170. I did better earlier in the week. It has moved just a little bit. But yeah, I really do like this fight from a violent standpoint. Jesse Strader, this guy is coming to take off in Hellinger's head. He mixed it up very well to the body, to the head as well. And Hellinger has been finished in all of his losses. Jesse Strader's been finished in all of his losses as well. Neither guy's lost a decision. I don't think that changes here. I think this is going to be a war. I think you're going to stand and bang it till one man falls. Give me the fight doesn't go. As long as somebody finishes here, I'll be very happy. Wheezy, how about you? What are you liking for this fight?
Yeah, same thing as you, Brady. Fight doesn't go to decision. We got 7 combined losses between these two guys, and they have all been inside the distance. Like Narco Cop said, Strader's got a lot of power in his hands. I watched that Rojo fight. It was very surprising that it wasn't stopped, and it's only because Rojo is known to be incredibly durable that he was able to survive that first round. So I could see Strader getting a finish early, and I could see Ann Hellinger getting a finish late. Minus 200, ish for a fight, where you got 7 combined losses and they've all finished inside the distance. And in these guys, 16 combined wins, 13 of them are inside the distance. So that's over 80% in their wins, 100% in their losses. That's a good mix for a fight doesn't go to decision bet.
I like it. I do like violence on this fight. And we'll move on to the next one. We have Diana Balbita going against Gloria de Paula. And this one is a weird one. And last time I checked, they do not have props out. Like, I've never seen this before. They still do not have all the props out. They don't have the fight doesn't go to decision, the unders, and looks like they don't have a lot of props for Balbita. So we don't have much to work with here at all. But we'll start with you, Narco. Anything sticking out from the limited props we do have available?
So they do have some of the props, or actually most of them, on DK. If you go on DK, I took the fight, kind of have a hot take. I took under 2.5. It was plus 195, just like earlier in the day. And I looked now, it's plus 175 now. I just think both girls hit pretty hard on the feet. Both girls are defensively flawed. Balbita's fight IQ is extremely bad. Go back, watch the Jojua fight. She lands a takedown, gets armbarred. Like, she gives Jojua the only, chance she had to win. Instead of keeping it on her feet, she goes for a takedown. So here, It's two girls that are going to swing it out. There might be some grappling, I guess, but like I just think the under is kind of it's kind of good value here. Like both girls hit really hard, and both girls are defensively flawed. So yeah, I took the plus 195. It's plus 175. I still don't mind it.
Sounds good. Wheezy, how about you? What are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, I'm liking a call to 1-800-GAMBLER to try to talk me out of betting this fight. Both of these ladies stand up, in my opinion, is above average for the division. They're both really good strikers. That's their base. I think it's going to be a striking match, and I think it's very hard to call. If you look at where the line is, Vegas doesn't really have a good feeling either way who's going to win this fight. I'm earlier in the week, I was thinking Balbita. I've been flipping back and forth. So when I do this, how do I cop out, Brady? I give you the draw bet.
Oh, you stole mine.
Yeah. It's a complete cop out, you guys. Don't think of it as anything less than that. Don't look into it any more than you need to. I'm staying far away from this fight, from betting this fight. So that's what I would do. Put a fraction of a unit on the draw and then just hope for fence grabs. Hope that the return of Diana Belchita returns. She gets a point taken and this thing goes to a split draw. That's a great way to make this fight memorable, is because it's not going to be memorable in any other way, I don't think.
There we go. Yeah, sounds like we're seeing the fight the exact same way, Weezy. I took the fight ends in a draw at plus 5K. You heard it here first. Let's see what happens. Eric, you like anything on this fight here?
This is a greasy fight that's probably going to play out really closely, and it is hard to find a spot here that you can really like. But on a card that's really kind of already prop heavy from what we've been putting out there, and I've played a lot of props on this card. I haven't played this here, but I think the striking is probably pretty close. But Gloria DePaula said in an interview that she was going to try to use her grappling here. So if you're looking for a crazy prop to play on this one, maybe look at Gloria DePaula by submission. I'm not playing it, probably not going to play it, but I got to throw something out there. So there you go.
DePaula by submission is around plus 900. Balbita, off the top of my head, has been submitted a decent amount of time, so hey, it could definitely happen. I have no clue what's going to happen in this fight, but should be interesting to say the least. I'm hoping for that plus 5,000 draw, though. Next, we have Chaz Skelly going against Mark Striegel. Honestly, another 1-800-GAMBLER fight where we have tons of red flags on the Skelly side. Skelly's now 36 years old. Skelly's coming off of a 2.5-year layoff. Skelly is this is a guy that if he's at anywhere near his best, like if Chaz Skelly shows up and he looks anything like the old Chaz Skelly of a couple of years ago, I think he runs through Mark Striegel. It's just we don't know that. There's so many red flags with this guy. He's talking about retiring as well, which is a huge red flag. There's no way I'm laying the minus 200 on him, but Mark Striegel has been finished in all three of his losses. Mark Striegel leaves a ton of openings on the mat, and this is a fight where I believe the majority of it is going to play out on the mat. So I actually do like Skelly by submission, which is plus 200, or even Skelly inside the distance, which is around plus 120, plus 110. I think if we get anywhere near the best version of Skelly here, I think he subs this guy pretty easily. Narco, what do you like for this fight here?
I kind of agree with your takes. Like Skelly's the much better submission grappler here. Striegel, however, is strong. He does wrestle well. I think he's going to take this fight to the ground, which is probably not the best thing for him here. But again, there's so many red flags with Skelly. I really don't know at this point. Like, this is a fight I want nothing to do with. But, fight goes to decision is plus 130 on Bet Online. I don't mind it. Like, Skelly's durable. He's only been stopped, I think, once in his career. Striegel, most of his wins are submissions. He's not subbing Skelly here because he loves that scarf hold, that he's just not going to get that. It's Skelly's too seasoned on the ground to fall for those things. So, I think most of the finishing equity is on the Skelly side, and it is submission. I just don't know at this point with Skelly. So, getting a plus 130 is not the worst thing here in a really questionable fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think if there is a finish, it is on that Skelly side. I was kind of looking at the fight doesn't go, but I don't really see Striegel finishing Skelly as well. Eric, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, as you guys mentioned, lots and lots of question marks in this fight. It's hard to feel too confident one way or another. These guys both have 18-3 records, but obviously if you look at who they've been fighting, those records are are not really comparable. I don't think Striegel is very good. I think he's got some strength and some physicality, and he's he hasn't really fought anybody very good. He's been fighting cans pretty much. So this is where I'm going with it. Last week I hit Kyler Phillips by sub in round 3 at plus 2,200. I put a little sprinkle on Chaz Skelly by sub in round 3 at plus 1,400 this time around. So that's what I'm going for.
Sounds good to me. Wheezy, how about you? What do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, this fight is nothing but red flags. A lot of people are talking about the red flags on Skelly's side, having, not fought for a couple of years, 6 canceled fights in between then and now. But with Striegel, we got him moving up a weight class. We've got one signature win on his record. I believe he's got a win over Kai Kara France back in like 2014. And other than that, he doesn't really have any noticeable wins on his resume with 18 total wins. So there's just red flags all over the place here. I kind of feel like fight doesn't go to decision is a safe bet because Striegel's been finished in all 3 of his losses. And from what, some people are saying about Skelly evidently is that we don't know what this guy is going to look like. I mean, he could even get injured in there, so I just think kind of fight doesn't go to decision minus 154 on FanDuel. Kind of feels like one of the safer fight doesn't goes, and it's a much cheaper price than one of these than some of these on the other fights because there's just a ton of red flags for this fight. I don't know if either one of these guys is going 15 minutes.
Yeah, so many red flags on this one. But when we keep moving on, if you all can smash a like button, over 300 of you in here, we much appreciate. Also subscribe. We go live every fight day, 1 hour prior to the prelims. We have Jessica Rose Clark going against Stephanie Egger. I'll let you kick this one off. Wheezy, what are you liking for this fight here?
I have a bet on this one. I've got 3/4 of a unit on Clark by decision here. Egger, being a judo base, is not particularly great with her defensive wrestling. Judo players don't really know how to stop single and double legs. And Jessica, I think, can get takedowns, and I think she can be safe when she is on top here. She's shown that she can do that. However, I just think that there's a big difference on the feet here. Stephanie Egger really didn't even start mixed martial arts until her mid-20s, and she doesn't have any kind of a striking background here, and Clark does. So I just believe that it's going to be very hard for Stephanie Egger to win minutes in this fight because I don't know if she can get takedowns if she wants them. I don't know if she can stop the takedowns of Jessica Rose Clark, and I don't know if she can win minutes in the striking either. So Clark, with less than a 40% career finish rate, and then she's never finished any of her UFC wins, I think taking Clark by decision at like plus 140 is a real good look.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I definitely agree with everything you said for the most part. I did go with the round 3 decision at plus 100, get that extra round in there, but I think the most likely scenario is Rose Clark winning that decision. I'm actually pretty confident in her. Did not quite pull the trigger, but I think it's a solid spot for her. Eric, how about you? What do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I actually put Jessica Rose Clark in a parlay, and I do like her to win here. But the more I kind of thought about this fight and looked at how it might play out, I mean, obviously she's been working on her wrestling. She's been going to her wrestling a lot more in her last few fights. And like Wheezy said, I mean, Egger has a judo background, and she's not necessarily going to be good at stopping hard single and double type shots. So if Clark uses her wrestling in a certain way, I think it could go well for her. But if she uses her wrestling in such a way where they're ending up against the cage, tying up with their hips close together, clinching and that kind of thing, I could see Egger, kind of understanding those situations and taking Clark for a ride. And she does have a pretty good top game. So I didn't bet this myself. Like I said, I used Clark in a parlay, but last I looked, Stephanie Egger by decision was plus 300. And in a fight that could potentially play out pretty closely, I thought that wasn't a bad look.
There you go. Yeah, I think if Egger does win, it is by decision. So plus 280 is not a bad look. Narco, are you on the Clark side? Are you looking at the other side here with Egger?
Yeah. For me, I have I had a really big bet on fight goes to decision earlier in the week at minus 175. Now it's minus 205, and on FanDuel, everywhere else it's like minus 250, 260. But on FanDuel, it's minus 205, and I think it's great value. These girls have fought 25 times total. Both of them have never been stopped inside the distance. When you look at Rose Clark, she's not a big finisher. She's been to decision many, many times. I don't think, Egger's going to stop Clark. She's extremely durable, extremely tough. She's very good on the ground. Both of them are really good on the ground. I just think this fight goes to decision at a very, very, very high clip. And you're getting minus 205, which I think is a bargain still. I got in at minus 175. Another look, if you want, is because I think this fight is going to play close. Egger by split decision is plus 1100. Just another look.
All right, there you go. Yeah, that fight goes to decision line has been getting smashed all week, and rightfully so. I think this fight does go to decision, but yeah, I was not able to get on that. And minus 205 is a good price out there considering Bet Online minus 260, and looks like DraftKings minus 250. But let's keep moving on to the last fight on the prelims, and this seems to be the most highly debated fight of the card. Gabriel Benitez, David Onama. I have seen a lot of strong takes on either side. I don't really have a strong take, but I do see a prop that I do like. We'll start with you, Narco. What are you liking for this fight here?
Honestly, this fight is kind of like split amongst the Twitter MMA community. Everybody is, on separate sides. A lot of people I know are on Mowgli Benitez. I see it. I just think Mowgli Benitez at 145 is not the same guy that at 155. And, he's fighting an explosive fighter, a fighter that's more athletic than him, is going to have a speed advantage, is going to be bigger than him here. I think it's going to be a closest fight, honestly. And I'm going to take a stab at Onama by split decision plus 1700. Gabriel worries me because his chin is, I don't know what it is now at 145. He has another weight miss. He didn't look great on the scales. Like, there's a lot of things going up against him here. So I'm not sure, but Onama by, split decision is plus 1700. I don't mind it at all.
1700. There you go. For me, there's a couple ways I'm looking at this. I actually do like the Onama by KO at plus 160. I have not liked what I saw from Benitez, the last couple fights. It looks like he's kind of slowing down. Looks like he's kind of on a decline as well. He's now 33 years old. He's been in a ton of wars, and I don't like what I see in terms of the gas tank as well. I think Onama is going to break this guy, maybe finish him late as well. Onama, a 100% finish rate, has a ton of power as well. And Benitez has been knocked out 3 times. So that plus 160 is what I would look at if I was to bet Onama. I would not lay the minus 175, minus 180, minus 185, but I think KO for me is what I would be looking at here. Wheezy, how about you? What are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, I'm one of the guys on Twitter that didn't fall on either side in this debate. I see what both people are saying. I think Benitez's, kicks and his experience are, not to be ignored here, and that Onama's youth, conditioning, chin, and power, and ability to be able to swim on the ground shouldn't be ignored either. So I had a hard time coming up on either side for this one. But the prop that stuck out for me was David Onama wins in round 3 at plus 1200 on FanDuel right now. We know that Benitez has had some really rough weight cuts, and that 145, he just doesn't even I'm surprised that they're still allowing him to take fights at 145, because he's missed weight now, I think 3 different times here, and pulled out of fights the week of with weight issues. So I think his conditioning might abandon him late, and Onama's got a lot of power in both hands. I think if he can survive early, he can maybe get a late finish here on Benitez, who's, with these weight cuts and with the age getting a little bit further up there, maybe we could see him get a late finish here. So plus 1200 is the way that I would play it.
Yeah, I like that call. Onama puts on a crazy pace. We saw it in his last fight against Mason Jones. The dude got control for 10 minutes and still landed nearly 100 strikes. Is Benitez going to be able to keep up that pace? I don't really think so. Eric, how about you? Which way are you looking on this one?
I like that Onama round 3 prop that Wheezy just brought up. But yeah, I do have a bet on Onama here. Honestly, every single talking point that I have for this fight has already been covered amongst all 3 of you. So yeah, I was mostly basing this on, obviously, Benitez is the experienced veteran. He's been in there with some good fighters. He's got some good wins. He's got some tough losses. But I was kind of basing it more on just Onama being the younger, stronger, more athletic, hungrier guy, and Benitez being a little older and a little more busted up at this point. And if my read on who Onama is and who Onama can be is correct, I think that Benitez is the level of fighter that he'll probably be able to beat at this point. So I did put a bet on Onama here.
Sounds good. Looks like all four of us are on Onama, which surprised because there are a lot of people on the Benitez side. So we'll see what happens. It's a very good fight, and it is my favorite fight on the prelims. But we'll move on to the main card here. We have Joaquin Buckley going against Abdul Razak Al-Hassan. Let's start with you, Narco. What do you like over this fight here?
Yeah, I actually have a big bet on Buckley decision only, minus 115. I know I just don't see Hassan ever winning a decision. I don't know how he's, 11 wins, 11 first round KOs. Like, the guy's not going to win a decision. If anybody's going to win a decision here, it's Buckley. It's kind of like minus 115 is honestly like a free roll type of bet to me. Like, if he stops him, okay, you get your money back. But if it goes to decision, like, Buckley wins at such a high clip that, you're getting a great price tag at minus 115.
Yeah, that line is probably the most mispriced line on the slate. I did not personally take it because I am very highly invested in the violence aspect of this fight. So if Al-Hassan was to somehow win a decision, I would get completely smoked. But yeah, if you're looking for something to bet on this fight, that minus 115 is an absolute steal. For me, I am going to go with Abdul Razak Al-Hassan to win in round one at plus 500. I think that is extremely mispriced considering the guy has 11 wins. All of them come in round one. He's never won in the second. He's never won in the third. He's never won by decision. And he's plus 135 on the money line. Why is his round one prop, which is his most likely path to victory, plus 500? So I do have a small poke on that. And I think that line's, pretty off as well. Eric, what do you like over this fight here?
Yeah, I didn't bet anything here, but I love both of those spots you two just brought up. That Buckley decision only. That none of the books I play have that one, but that's a fantastic spot. I would play that if I had access to it. And you said Razak Al-Hassan in round one was something like plus 500.
Yeah, on FanDuel.
That's a spot worth taking a poke on too. Yeah, I'm just piggybacking on you guys here because I didn't have anything on that, but those are both really great spots.
Yeah, both those lines seem very, very off. Weezy, any thoughts on these?
Yeah, Al-Hassan's made a fool out of me so many times, man, that I can't bet on his fights anymore. And then you know what I did? I fucking bet on him again, dude. I need help. I need help, okay? Sometimes it's hard to admit when you need help as a gambler and when you have a fucking problem, and I got a problem. He's made a fool out of me when he lost to Malkoon. He made a fool out of me when he head kicked DeChirico's head into the third row, and I put up, but this time I said, you know what, if he makes a fool out of me, I'm only going to lose a quarter unit. So I bet a quarter unit on Al-Hassan by first round KO, plus 450. It's pretty much his only win equity. But the best bet is absolutely what Narco gave out. If this fight goes to decision, I don't think that there's like even a 15 or 20% chance that Al-Hassan wins a decision. So minus 115 decision only prop for Joaquin Buckley is definitely the best bet.
Yeah, that is probably the most mispriced line on the card. We'll talk about the other really mispriced line in a little bit, but now first we'll go to the Jim Miller Nicholas Mata fight. This should be a very fun one. We'll start with you, Eric. What do you like for this fight here?
I'm really excited about this fight. I mean, obviously Jim Miller's a legend. I love watching Jim Miller fight. I love watching Mota fight. I think he's got rad striking. He's got those kind of punches that when they land kind of make you go, damn, like that guy can slug. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I love a shot on Jim Miller by sub in round one, which I think was like plus 750 last time I looked at it. And I did bet the fight doesn't go the distance here. I think this is likely to finish whichever way it goes. In Jim Miller's last fight, obviously we know he's always live for that round one sub, but in his last fight, we saw that he can still take shots and get hurt. He can still recover from that and come back and still win the fight with strikes in that case. So I think Miller's live for a sub or a knockout. I think Mota's live for a knockout. I think we probably see a finish here.
Sounds good. Yeah, this is a spot that I really like at minus 160 even. It was my second bet of the card. And yeah, I see violence here as well. I think Miller is very live to come in here, even knock out Mata. Mata has been knocked out a couple times. I don't like the chin on the guy, but even maybe like a club and sub, or even taking him down and submitting him. If Jim Miller gets this guy down, there's a very good chance he can get that submission. I just think as the fight goes on, we see Jim Miller slow down and Nicholas Mata. This guy hits very, very hard. I've seen him put out guys cold. And I think he does knock out Jim Miller at some point in this fight, but why not take the fight? Doesn't go to decision. cover both sides there, a Miller early finish, and I think Mata's live for a finish at any point in this fight. So give me that fight doesn't go as well at -160. I do like that quite a bit. Narco, how about you? What are you liking for this fight?
I'm right there with you. I love the fight doesn't go at -160. This guy, Nicholas Mata, throws with a ton of power on the feet. You want to see a highlight knockout reel where it looked literally scary, is go watch that Balmaceda fight. Like, that was scary, man. Also the Selecki fight. Like, I mean, he just destroyed Selecki in that third round. I mean, this guy has a ton of power. But then, you know, when you get to the ground, like, Miller's a vet, man. He's really good down there. Like, sub is very live for him. So fight doesn't go, it just feels right here at -160.
Yeah, definitely feels right. Wheezy, how about you? What are you looking at for this fight here?
Yeah, you guys all stole my thunder. I've got a bet on, fight doesn't go. We got it at -110 earlier in the week. Gotta love that. I could arb out right now and get +140 on the fight does go to decision, but I'm not going to do that. This one absolutely should finish inside the distance. If Miller gets this kid down, he's very live for a submission. And Narco just stole my thunder there. That Balmaceda knockout, he had to have had a roll of nickels in his hand. Dude, I mean, that was nasty. It's one of those ones where the crowd goes nuts and then like 10 seconds later, it just goes quiet because you see the dude on the ground. You're like, that guy is not okay right now. So, hopefully Balmaceda recovered from that nasty knockout because that was not good. Fight doesn't go to decision at -160 would be the way I would approach this one.
I like it. Yeah, we got it earlier in the week. I was kind of expecting it to get hit even more. So the -160 still feels very good to me. We'll keep moving on. And this is the people's main event. And I know it's Narco's main event because I was checking Bet MMA tips a couple weeks ago. And I see that somebody placed a monster bet on Parker Porter. I was like, what's going on here? And then I see that's Narco Cop. So I'll actually let you start this off, Narco Cop, because I feel like you have the most invested in this fight.
Yeah, I have a ton invested in this fight. I got in early. I can't give that line. It's Parker Porter -200.
Nice.
The line is 280 now, 270. I just think he's the much better fighter here. Like, Bido is a good striker. Don't get me wrong. He has a lot of power, but one, I think he's a quitter. Two, at heavyweight, this guy has like the worst gas tank I've ever seen. Like, he's got one round in him. Like, and now the problem here is Parker Porter is pretty durable. The guy comes forward. The guy throws a lot of volume for heavyweight, and he's going to pressure you. And he has a huge grappling edge here, like insanely big grappling edge. I just, this fight doesn't go to decision, under 2.5, like all types of violence here. Like, and I hedged honestly with Bido round 1 KO just because I think that's his path, and I'm getting a really big number there. But like submission, Porter round 2, round 3, like unders. I mean, I don't even know, which one's best bet, but I love all of them.
Yeah, there's so many ways to play this. I was talking about the mispriced line that I think's way off, and I think it's the fight doesn't go to decision at -225 here. I don't know why I didn't go heavier on it. I was able to get in at -200. There was kind of money coming in on these overs on the fight goes to decision all week, and I was going to wait it out. Like -225 for the fight doesn't go. It makes no sense. Like, this is a heavyweight fight. Neither guy has ever lost a decision before. But Doe's been finishing both of his losses officially, but he also has that DQ win where he got dominated and submitted in that third round. Parker Porter's been finishing all his losses, but Doe, if he wins, it's going to be in the first round. And we saw that Bido has a round of gas, and then he slows down, he quits. I think it's Bido early or Parker Porter could be early as well, but more specifically that second or third round. I think the fight doesn't go at -225 is pretty insane. So that's going to be my best bet. Little chalky, but like you said, Narco, there's so many ways to play this. Porter inside the distance, that plus money, I think that's crazy as well. Porter in round 2, Porter in round 3, Porter sub, like all these stick out. But I do have a bet on the fight doesn't go, and I also have a bet on the Porter inside the distance here. And yeah, very invested in this fight myself. Weezy, how about you? What do you like on this one?
Yeah, same thing, man. I've got a bet on Porter to win inside the distance, and I've got a small bet on Porter to win in round 3 plus 1,400. But I also think the fight doesn't go to decision is a great look. I forget which Canadian capper was talking about it this week, but they were talking about the Bido Todd Stout fight. And Todd Stout's a guy that's like known for having no ground game whatsoever. And like, some of these guys had trained with Todd Stout and stuff, and they were watching the fight when Todd Stout submitted Bido in the third round. They said that people at the gym were absolutely going nuts, losing their mind, high five. They were like crying when they saw Todd Stout submit this guy, because they're like, how the fuck did Todd Stout just get a submission? This guy doesn't know how to submit anybody. That's how bad Alan Bido's ground game is, and his conditioning might be even worse. So you got to believe that if this fight does finish inside the distance, it's a much smaller chance that it's Bido knocking out Porter. It's a much higher chance that Porter gets it done inside the distance. So I'll say, just go for that even money. Porter inside the distance is a pretty safe bet this week.
Yep, I like that. I'm still kicking myself for not smashing that minus 200 I saw on The Fight Doesn't Go. Only put a unit on it. Eric, what do you like on this fight here?
Yeah, I have a lot of the same feelings that you guys have already expressed. Either Bido finds a KO in round one, which is unlikely, or Porter finishes him inside the distance, I think. And as Narco pointed out, and the rest of you guys pointed out, there's a lot of different ways that you can play this one, I think. I mean, obviously, it's a little bit of a joke that this is the people's main event, but I think this is the MMA Gamblers main event because there's just so many different ways that you can come at this fight. I did end up sprinkling a little bit on Parker Porter by submission. I got it at plus 750. And man, oh man, do I wish there was a line where you could specifically bet Parker Porter by key lock. We never see those anymore, but man, you heard it here first. Parker Porter's about to hit that key lock. And if I could find that at plus 100,000 somewhere, you bet I'd be playing it.
That is awesome. So key lock, you heard. Yeah, go ahead, Narco.
Really quick. If you want to not play that, goes to decision, which is minus 225, a little juiced, there's an alternate line on DraftKings under 2.5 at minus 160. And then you can play round 3 Parker Porter. Like there's no way Bido is finishing this in round 3. So like you're getting under 2.5 at minus 160, and then you're getting plus 1,000 on Porter round 3, just in case, it lands between those 2.5 minutes. So
that's a great call, dude. I'll tell you something, man. If Bido finishes Parker Porter in round 3, I will dye my hair Phil Hawes blonde. We'll just get it out of the way like right now, Brady. That is not happening. Great call there, Narco Cop.
Yeah, that's a great call. Like even the fight won't start round 3 minus 135, and then you have the Porter round 3. Like, yeah, you can do that as well. So many ways to play this fight, but I do know that I think the bookies' asses are going to get shaved if Parker Porter wins, because I see a lot of people on him, and honestly, rightfully so. But we'll move on to the co-main event. We have Kyle Dawkis going against Jamie Pickett. We will let you kick this one off, Eric. What are you liking for this co-main event here?
Yeah, I like Dawkis a lot here. I think he's bigger. I think he's better in pretty much every way. Jamie Pickett's obviously got a lot of physicality, but he just has a really hard time putting it together into any kind of game that actually works for him consistently. I have Dawkis in. If Dawkis loses, it's going to be a troublesome night for me because I've got him in, I think, 3 different parlays. So yeah, I didn't mind just using his money line as a parlay piece, but I also don't mind looking at lines on Dawkis inside the distance or by submission. I didn't play those myself, but I think those might be worth a look.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Very high on Dawkis this week. I did bet him straight earlier in the week, but what I would play now would be that Dawkis by submission, which is plus 300. I just think if he gets his fight down to the mat, I think it'll be over shortly after. He's a legit black belt in BJJ. Pickett, we have seen him struggle on the mat with guys like a gassed out Punahele Soriano in the 3rd round, could not get up from him, and then also got out-grappled and submitted by Charles Byrd. Just have not liked what I saw in terms of the ground game of Pickett, and if Dawkis gets on top of him, I think it'll be over shortly after. So I do like Dawkis by sub, plus 300. I don't hate Dawkis as a parlay piece as well, which is around minus 270. And then also they did have that Dawkis to win by either submission or decision at like minus 165, minus 170 earlier in the week. I think that's a good way to look as well. So yeah, very high on Dawkis here. And I hope he gets it done. Narco, how about you? What's sticking out to you for this one?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I like the submission prop at plus 300. Pickett got taken down by Staropoli, who's traditionally a 170-pounder. He's a welterweight. He got taken down by Soriano, dead tired 4 times. Like Dawkis is going to bring the pressure, and I think he's going to land takedowns here. And when he lands a takedown or 2, I just think he's going to drown Pickett on the ground. Pickett's not that good on the ground, and Dawkis is high level on the ground. So yeah, plus 300, big discrepancy in the ground game here.
Yeah, right there with you. Wheezy, what are you liking for this co-main event here?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys here. I put a bet in earlier in the week, 1.65 units on Dawkis to win by decision or submission, because he's never knocked anybody out. And we know that Pickett is very durable, very difficult to knock out. And that's just not Dawkis's game. I mean, Dawkis uses his hands to set up his takedowns. He's a grappler first. And I just think it's a great way to get a line that's right now minus 270 Kyle Dawkis. But you could take him by his two most likely win conditions and get that from minus 270 up to minus 185 right now on FanDuel. So that's how I'm attacking it. I've already got a bet on it, but I beat some line movement, got it at minus 165.
There you go. I like it. Looks like we're all on the same page there. Time to move on to the main event. Before we do so, if y'all can smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. We go live every Saturday, 1 hour prior to the prelims. This card is not the best, but we're talking about a lot of great spots. I'm feeling good about it from a betting perspective. Maybe not a ton of name value, but if you think this is bad, next week's going to be worse. But after that, we do have Colby Covington going against Jorge Masvidal. Looking forward to that card a ton. But right now, we have Johnny Walker, Jamal Hill. I will let you kick it off, Eric. What are you liking for this main event?
Yeah, I think it's a fight that's kind of difficult to get a confident read on, simply because who is Johnny Walker right now? I mean, obviously he really relied on just being kind of a ball of energy and violence and danger earlier in his career. And then in his last fight, we saw him come out with a completely different approach where he was super measured and super just kind of hung back and didn't really pull the trigger. And obviously that didn't really work for him. So I think it's reasonable to expect that he might come out with a game plan that's sort of somewhere in between those two. And then I realized that when I'm sitting here trying to figure out what game plan is Johnny Walker going to come in here with, in the end, I don't think it matters that much, because I think I favor Hill to win regardless of what version of Johnny Walker we get here. I did parlay Hill's money line, but I also don't mind, I think that this fight probably finishes inside the distance. I think it makes sense to look at Jamal Hill inside the distance. Or if you do think there's a chance that Johnny Walker's going to have a glimpse of his old self and come out and starch him, just play the under or the doesn't go the distance.
Sounds good to me. For me, I did go with the under 2.5 rounds, sitting around minus 165. I don't see this playing out anything like Walker's last fight with Thiago Santos, in a fight where they didn't do anything. The problem with that, Jamal Hill is going to do things. This guy throws a ton of volume, throws nearly 16 significant strike attempts per minute, landing about half of those. So I just don't expect him to come in there with a Thiago Santos game plan. I expect him to throw a ton of volume. Walker is very hittable, 40% strike and defense. Walker is very chinny. I think Hill knocks him out at some point. But if Walker comes in here, with that wild, crazy style, this guy is very, very dangerous. It would not completely shock me if he did knock out Hill here, but I do get why Hill's the favorite. I don't like the money line, really, but I will say Hill wins here within the first couple rounds. Give me the under 2.5 at minus 165. Narco, what's sticking out to you for this one here?
Yeah, actually like a spot here again, but I don't like betting main events. I make it pretty obvious. Like, these are the sharpest lines. I just try to stay away. There's, every time we say these main events are going under, and what happens? They go over and they go to decision. So another line that actually stuck out is Hill decision only minus 150. Like you mentioned, he throws a ton of volume. I don't see Johnny Walker winning a decision here. Hill has all the volume here. It's similar spot to Buckley. I do expect maybe Hill to KO him at one point or another, but getting minus 150 decision only is again, it's like a free roll, to be honest.
Yeah, that's nuts. I didn't even notice that one. Yeah, minus 150 is very, very off. I do not see Johnny Walker winning a decision. And by the way, Johnny Walker by decision, it has to be something like crazy. Walker by decision is plus 1,100. So yeah, the minus 150, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, good bet there, Narco. Wheezy, what do you like for this main event here?
Where are you getting that decision only, Narco?
DK has it.
Dude, that's crazy. There's no way that Johnny Walker is going to win minutes in this fight. There's no way. There's not enough volume. Hill throws a ton of volume, puts a ton of pace on his opponents. I think that's probably one of the best bets of the night. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go make that bet right now on DraftKings and track that shit for 1.5 units. That's an absolutely fantastic look.
Sounds good. So you're going with that, Weezy?
That's right. I'm tailing Narco Cop on that one, man, and calling it, and then I'm going to put it out on Twitter that it was my idea.
All right, good idea, good idea. But yeah, that's about it. We went through all 12 fights. We'll be back next week. We'll kick it around. Narco, let them know where you can find you, what you have going on throughout the week for some MMA content.
Yeah, they can find me on Twitter at NarcoCop. My YouTube channel, NarcoCop MMA. I do the Lambeau Place podcast every Friday at 9 p.m. It's basically giving you plus 300 plays or better on every fight, mostly props. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for having me. And thank you to everybody in chat. Let's cash some tickets. You're on mute, Brady.
Eric, you're up. I'm back, guys.
All right, yeah. For those of you in chat, if you haven't checked out Narco's Lambeau Plays podcast, definitely do that. It's a lot of fun, and he's not just throwing out crazy plays. I mean, it's plays that he's been hitting with a lot of those. So definitely check that out if you haven't. But yeah, you can find me. I'm Eric Betts Fights on Twitter and Eric Betts Fights on YouTube. This Saturday show is the only show that I do like on a consistent basis, but I do put out various videos on YouTube breaking down fights and kind of whatever else I come up with.
Sounds good. Yeah, go check out Narco, 100%. Go check out Eric as well. It does great work. And then we have Weezy as well that also does great work. Weezy, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Uncle Weezy. I do balls deep breakdowns of fights, and I also do a full card breakdown every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Central Time, called Just the Tip, where I give you just the tip of the stats for all the fights on the upcoming card. You can find me on Pub Sports Radio every Sunday for Stat Diggers and every Wednesday for the DFS show. God bless each and every one of you for spending the last hour with us, and let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Vegas 48, you guys. Let's go.
Let's do it. Hoping for some violence. You can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. Me and Weezy, like you said, we'll be back tomorrow on Pub Sports Radio breaking down UFC Vegas 49, which is a dumpster fire of a card, but always enjoy breaking down the fights with Weezy. Leave a like on your way out, subscribe, go check these guys out, and we'll be back next week. Good luck for UFC Vegas 48.